Alright, thank you so much for putting up with me setting this up. I thought I had it ready, but OBS always never fails to give me problems. Alright, CZ. Alright, well thank you so much for both of you. The camera's just going to be right up in there.
Yeah, no, thanks for having us.
Yeah. It was amazing. I'm definitely glad you have, DJs of both your calibers, and your set was amazing no matter what you think of it, Hanks. Alright, so let's kind of go some just general questions about, you yourself as a DJ and stuff, and if you have any questions for me, you're more than welcome to, speak up and ask me what you want. So, let's go in the order of people who of the sets. Thanks. How long have you been DJing for?
Uh, 6 months.
Awesome.
So not too long.
It's right about when I started, so that's definitely good. Which day in June?
Definitely end of June, because I remember my first set was on the very last few days of June.
Awesome. First time I touched a data controller was June 19th. Yeah, so it's kind of cool, just watching both of us grow together. But how long have you been DJing for?
Sorry.
Mr.
I've been DJing for off and on for about almost 20 years now. But in VR chat, I've been in VR chat for like 2 months maybe. As you can see by me like flying around all over the place.
No worries, you'll get your VR chat legs eventually. So, what got you into DJing things? Like, most people don't just suddenly decide, hey, I want to DJ. Well, some people do.
I literally did. So, we're obviously all still in lockdown and everything. And I used lockdown mostly to just look at things that I didn't have a chance to do. So yeah, DJing was one of those things. I tried a lot of things during lockdown because I didn't work as much because my job hours got shortened as well. And yeah, the DJing was one of the last things I tried, and that just kind of sucked.
Yep, definitely glad it stuck because you are very, very good.
Thank you.
How about yourself?
How did I get started?
Yeah. Back when vinyls.
Yeah.
Well, the family still are.
Oh, jeez, yeah. I just really liked all kinds of music. I'd like to thank Napster. I've come back and actually bought pretty much all the CDs and stuff that I pirated back in the day. It was like 128 kbps MP3s, and I want the good version, but also that's legit, like no joke. That, and then I got a Paul Oakenfold CD from the library. I know Paul Oakenfold's a really cheesy thing to it's like saying oh yeah, I was inspired by Tiesto or something, but he did this really legit mix. It was called Another World, and he mixed Vangelis and Dead Can Dance and stuff into Goa and breaks, and he was all over the place. And I sat down to listen to it. I was doing some homework because I only ever heard individual tracks, and geez, this song is really good, but it's 20 freaking minutes long. And I went back, it was on track 7. I'm like, how'd he do that? That just sounded like one song. How'd he do that? That's a bunch of different songs. I had no idea this was a thing, and then I'm like, I have to figure that out.
Yeah, you definitely know the DJ is really good when you're listening to a track. You're like, wait, where'd the last song end and where the first song begin? Wait, what? So, what, in your opinion, thinks is the best part of being a DJ?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, practically, even though you only have so many songs in the library, you get to rediscover them every time, And like you get to play around with like different parts. Do I like get out of the song here or like only back there, or do I play it out completely? So you just get like so many possibilities. You can just like, even though you keep listening to the same music, despite music libraries being massive for most of the DJs, you just get to get a new point of view every time you put the song on the set. Depending on like what you combine it with and how you go in and out of it, what you like play around with. But also just like seeing, especially like in VR chat, we have these like great possibilities of literally playing for people like all over the world, and just like being able to see that people have a good time with something I made. Yeah, definitely those two things.
Yes.
Even though you asked it the best, but I think it's like both on the same level.
Yeah. And like obviously music to us is like, our toolbox, We can go in and pull out the wrench, but you're not always going to be working on the same bolt or the same nut. Sometimes you can use it as a hammer if you want to use it as a hammer. How about you, DJ? What's the best part of DJing for you?
It's gotta be just getting the reactions from the crowd. Like I love trade music. Like hey, another DJ here, OK, and we go way back, and we love to just trade tracks with each other. I'll show her something, and she's like, oh wow, it would go amazing at this event, like, and then she'll show me something, and I love hearing other DJs because they've always got like some kind of track I've never heard before that I wanna hear, not in the sense of like, I want to like swipe it for my sets, but like, oh, they're introducing me to something I love, but I didn't know I loved, if that makes any sense.
Yes, totally. Like they're introducing a new genre. Like, wait, this exists? This is cool.
That's my favorite part.
Like I've been there with a few people like that. Where this track is really awesome. This is a really nice genre. Let's kind of listen to the genre and say like, oh, I can go set with this, or that track was a banger, but the rest of them. So what genre do you play most often, Inks? Okay, definitely in the Latin.
I started out I started out with mostly just, I would say, your regular club stuff. So like house, pretty much every subgenre of house as well. Like my house folder in record box has like 20 subfolders, and I keep adding more. It's crazy. So definitely that. Latin is, like you said, like a personal preference of mine. I would say I prefer that even over house, and lately I just started like adding more. Like I played my first drum and bass set just this week. It was quite the experience.
Yes.
And at the moment I look into hardstyle dubstep, all like that corner that I never touched before, because I would always be more on the like club side, like classic commercial house charts, you name it.
The top 40.
So that more like the melodic stuff. Sorry?
Like the house top 40, that type of stuff. But you play most.
Yeah, all that. And yeah, Latin and electro swing is definitely also something I like having a lot. God, and then actually it keeps going. Like what people like point out a lot is that in my sets there's always like some old song from like the 90s or 2000s, or like actually not just one, several. I think the oldest song in my library is like 40 years old or something.
What?
So yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely from the 80s, from the late 80s. So.
Yeah, so kind of like on the.
Oh, damn, that's pretty wild.
That's cool. Well, like, what genres do you like playing? Because you went through a lot. You got like hardstyle at the end of it, big room.
I mean, the first DJs that I ever really knew about, like I didn't actually know that genre DJing was a thing, which probably sounds weird, but like I grew up without even internet or anything, so I had no idea what was going on. And the first DJs I listened to were kind of all over the place. So I'm like, oh, that's how it works, and that's how I always go. Like I've gotten booked for events where they're like, oh yeah, it's a hard style event, or it's like a chill house event, but I can't just stay in one thing. I got to try a bunch of different stuff. I think it becomes a limitation, you know, and you can go too far the other way with it too, and start playing like a totally different genre every time, and then it just starts sounding like a train wreck. But like I really like what Onks was saying, where she's started with a few things that she was really passionate about, and she's discovering new stuff and trying that out. I think that's. Yeah, I'm gonna copy Onk's answer here and say like everything. But for real, yeah, I don't want to put those kind of labels on anything. I think it's just like it's music, and if it fits the vibe, like that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. For like me, I'm kind of like you, or like I'll discover new genres, play a little bit of it. With me, unfortunately, the way I always have my sets of the version of blue. So like, if I cannot find a version of blue in that genre, and I cannot mix out of that genre to something different that does have blue, I know I will play that genre of music.
Well, you make a really good point there, and I hope I'm not interrupting, but you have a really good point, which is like, it's not about the genre of the song that you're ending your set on. It's that you've put in this context of, hey, it's Warren is playing. He always ends the set with blue. You know who's playing. You made it yours.
Yes.
You made it fit your event, your club, your vibe.
Yeah, like honestly, the first DJ set I ever did was I ended in blue because I found a hardstyle remix of blue, and I was doing a hardstyle set. Oh Jesus Christ! Listening back to the set now, I'm like, I did not know what the beat grid was. I did not know how to process the beat grid, how to use my spaders properly. But hey, I was having fun learning, and here I am now. You know.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
And then, sorry, I answered that question there. So, for all of us, since you and I are relatively new DJs, you are coming back in the swing of things. If somebody wanted to become a DJ or start becoming a DJ, what advice would you give them? Like, do they have to have the best deck on the market? Do they even have to have a DJ deck? You know, what would you say? You know, to somebody who wanted to start DJing.
A lot of things. I'll probably hold a 30-minute lecture or something. Yeah, it's just like, even though I only started like that short ago, there's like so much I already learned. Like, first of all, no, you don't need like the biggest, most amazing deck, because like, you know, you can have all these like fancy knobs or anything, but that doesn't give you like creativity or like sense of music or anything like that. So, you know, I started like some really tiny controller, even smaller than the like 400 that most of people like start on, and that was fine. I played my first few sets on that until I went like, ooh, okay, let's keep going. So yeah, definitely don't let people like tell you, oh, you need this equipment, you need that. Like, if I would have followed every advice I've gotten so far, I would own at least 6 different decks and 5 software licenses. Like, someone literally said to me, like, because I started out on a software called Hercules. No, sorry, DJs by a company called Hercules. And I wanted to switch to and I wanted to switch to you know those big players, Serato, Recordbox, Virtual DJ, something like that. So I asked around, and just as many people who told me that Recordbox is the hot shit, you know, same amount of people told me no, Serato is, and then another amount, like the same amount, said like no, Virtual DJ, no, Tracker. I was like,
yeah, so
all right. Yeah, so I would say like definitely like listen a lot, but you know, then decide for yourself whether it comes to like equipment or software, because everyone's different, you know. What do you want to do with it? What just works for you? You know, you can't get a test version of everything and just be like, oh, works, doesn't work, okay. So when it comes to that, like, yeah, listen, but don't like feel like anyone's telling you like, yeah, this is the one way to do it. Like, just take that, because after all, it's, you know, it's a creative thing that we're doing, and I'm convinced that when there's creativity involved, there is not the one way to do it. Like, sure, you should be on beat and stuff like that, but whether you train crash your song into a wall or whether you echo it out or whether you do whatever with it, make it your transition,
Yeah,
So
on it. Like you make
that's
that,
definitely something.
like you make that bad transition. Like, yep, that sucked, but let's keep going.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I tend to say, like when people ask me, like, "Oh, Anx, how do you do your transitions?" I always say, "Well, the song goes in whether it wants or not, and if it didn't want to, you will hear it." So I just say that, oh, does the song work with the other song? No, well, now I know.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and like drop down a little bit the bass slider. Okay, there we go. We can maybe neuter the song just enough, and then bring everything back when you need to bring it back.
Yeah, it's really just like experimenting and everything. So yeah, listen, but don't take like everything and think, oh, I have to do it like that because DJ XYZ said so. Like, nah. And there was one other thing, but I kind of forgot. Oh, right, yeah. Just make sure you have fun with it. Like, someone asked me just lately, actually, like, oh, how do I get started? Like, what songs should I play? So I said, like, the ones you want to listen to. Because if you don't enjoy it, then people will notice, and then they won't enjoy it either. So, like, I've literally heard people go, oh, but I only like this, like, really niche genre. Will anyone listen to that? Like, yeah, other people who like it will listen to it.
Yeah. And don't go chasing, Twitch follower clout or, some Mixcloud clout. It's like,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Do it for
Jeez.
yourself. Like, that's what this IWAIT event is about, is I wanted to invite my friends to just enjoy an experience of, hey, we're DJs, we're trading off our music together. And same to you, like, what advice would you give, newer DJs starting off?
Oh, geez. I think I'd agree 100% with everything that Ox just said. I think she kind of beat me to it, and I think that says a lot about, like, I mean, she's only been DJing for a little while, but she 100% gets it. In a way that I think a lot of DJs have been DJing, for like 30 years or something, still haven't understood always, and it's like she said. And we could probably talk all night into the morning about like all the advice I'd give, like when Kay was starting with some of my gear, like the first thing she would do, and I hope this doesn't sound like talking smack about her, because literally everybody does this. I did this. Is they look at the screen and they're using their eyes, but you don't see the music. Yeah, and then I would even cover up the the volume meter LEDs, so you couldn't see anything. You had to totally do it with your ears, and I think it's really easy to end up being one of those DJs that's staring at the screen all the time. Like, if I'm playing out, I actually set the laptop way off to the side so I can glance at it for a sec, but I want to look at the people. And I think kind of like what Ox was saying about there's going to be all these opinions about, oh, well, what should you be playing? What gear should you get? And this software sucks. This software, like, God himself made it and it's perfect or something, Like, everyone's going to have all these opinions on stuff, but at the end of the day, like, it's about connecting with people. And if you can't see the people out there, and you're not paying attention to that, then it's not really going to matter. Like, there's people who are going to ask questions like that, like, well, what music should I play? And it's exactly like Ox said. Well, what music do you like? Like, if you happen to ask that question, it's you gotta do some thinking about, are you doing this for yourself and your friends, or are you doing this for a buck? And there's nothing wrong with doing it for a buck, like, I've done wedding DJ stuff, and it makes good money. It's kind of soul-sucking, like, you gotta have all the requests, and it's gonna be all, like, YMCA and whatever, but and I think the main bit of advice I would give is really similar to what Ox was saying, which is that do it for yourself, and do it for your friends and for your people, because there's already a million people out there who are trying to play the music that is already popular, that everyone already knows about, and in that context, you're not really sharing music and a new experience with people, and you're not getting a new one. Like, I mean, the 100th time you hear some song that's already on the radio, it's not a new experience. It's not different. You're gonna get sick of it. And there's all these other artists out there that are so good, and maybe you can be their champion. Like, maybe you can introduce them to other people. Like, I like finding really weird stuff and then showing it to someone else, because maybe they're not going to find it any other way, and I'm not going to find it any other way unless I'm looking for it. Well, that's kind of rambly, but I think that would be like the main bit of advice I'd throw out there.
Yeah,
Just do it for yourself. Have fun. Don't make it a job. You know.
Yeah, the moment you make it into a job, you lose all happiness out of it. Final question. Kind of tails on to the previous question. What thing of advice would current you give to you just starting off? Like, if you can go back in time, like send a text message to yourself and have a pop up on your phone, you know, when you were first starting, what would you say?
Yeah, that's a pretty tough one.
Yeah, but honestly, apart from just, you know, a little less worrying, a little more doing, just keep going exactly like that. Because I think the path I took ultimately was, you know, giving a little less fucks and just trying a little more for myself. I think that was a pretty good one.
Know it yourself.
Man, that's really good advice. If I could send myself a message to back when I started DJ, I send myself probably two things, and I don't think they're as deep. But the first one would be, you don't know what a Bitcoin is, but when one of your two best friends tells you he's gonna buy 1,000 of them because they're only 10 cents each, don't tell them that it's stupid and they're never going to reach $1. True story. The second slightly more serious thing would be, stop playing so much Ragnarok online. And if anyone out there knows what that is, I'm so sorry. And it would be like, stop playing Ragnarok and spend more time with the NPC, with your turntables, like, because it's good to have fun. It's not like you need to turn everything fun that you do into something productive, but you know, you gotta have you want to get something out of it that's more than just like the equivalent of playing video games too much, like the equivalent of like sitting around watching TV. And I think it's better to have things that are like, go outside, go into nature, go spend some time on those decks, go draw something, go read a book, you know.
Be productive.
So probably something like that. I think if I give myself that advice, I'd be like way further ahead than I am now.
I think we can all take that advice, you know. We can use our time more wisely. Honestly, for me, the sets don't have to be perfect. When I first started off,
Ooh, that's good advice.
I had to make sure that I was fading in just at the right moment. The beat match was exactly perfect, and the volume levels are exactly the same. If it wasn't exactly, scrap the entire set and start over. And I'm like, now I realized, hey, let's go. Oh, this track sounds good. This track sounds
That's
good.
rough.
Yeah. Honestly, this entire set that I did this today was blind. There's only 2 tracks in the set that I've actually heard before.
That can be really fun though.
Exactly. Especially when you're with the shooting on the same record label. Any last words you want to say before we close out for the evening and I go raid somebody else?
Any last words?
Yes. Any
last words? Oh, God.
What do you want to hear soon?
Well, it's been a pleasure being here, especially having seen over here because like you're actually someone I really look up to with all the experience and you teaching okay, and hearing from you that I'm apparently like kind of on the right way, that makes me very happy.
Yeah,
You're 100% on the right path. You've got stuff figured out that, for real, people who've been doing this longer than either of us haven't always figured out. So keep doing exactly what you're doing. I actually need to hit you up for some info one of these days on how you're doing those really rapid fire sets, because you're making really fast transition, but it's really smooth. It's really smooth.
Thank you.
yeah.
It's a bit of a curse sometimes, to be honest, because I feel like, when I'm listening to music, then it's like, yep, I'm just sitting and listening to music. When I'm mixing, it's like, 1 minute in, I'm kind of boring now. So, yeah, so like, unfortunately, because like I enjoy this like mixing process so much, like what I said earlier, with like finding out what can I do with this song, what can I do with that song. I unfortunately enjoy that so much that it happens sometimes. I started a set, I look at the clock, 1:15, 15 songs in. Not again. So that's a bit of a curse sometimes.
Like if you're DJing in a club, you're like, damn it, Inks, we have to pay licensing for all these tracks.
Yeah, it's a bit funny. Like I'm a bit proud as well because because it happened like that. But sometimes I look back at the set that I prepared. Like I literally, when I prepare a set, what I do quite often, that I have like a list, and I don't plan out the transitions, but I just like put together a general list of songs that I want to play that evening, and then I just see like, maybe I'll just like, I don't know, whatever song I start with. Yeah, just. So that instead of like from 5,000 tracks, I only choose out of like 90 tracks. It makes it a lot easier. So sometimes I like, looking back at sets from, let's say, like August maybe last year. I was like 2 months in, and I would look at it, and in the playlist it will always say like how long that set was supposed to be, and I would look at it and be like, oh, okay. 120 minute song, 120 minutes set, 60 songs. Oh, that's cute.
Jeez, that's funny. Fast though.
Yeah, that's like a lot of DJs.
It's a curse sometimes. You just go through so much music, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, there is like a lot of
It's too much fun.
Yeah, there is a lot of DJs who will like rapid fire like that. Like, I think Will Prov, he said like one of his sets was an hour-long set and went for like 140 tracks.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh, that is really crazy. I think the most I've ever did was 70 songs in 1 hour, and that was a Latin set, because in Latin it really goes bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, I think what it was like he was playing like 2 tracks at the same time, or 3 tracks at the same time, or just 30 seconds here, 30 seconds here. I'm like, if you really want to rapid fire DJs, look up Lowprov, Lowprov, or if you like a lot of mismatches, look up Scaly Bloke. He's also a house DJ, but he does a lot of his own mashups and mix-ups. He's a DJ that will actually produce and DJ.
Oh.
But what about you? Any last, parting words?
I guess this is gonna sound weirdly like try hard and deep here, but I don't know. It's probably I've been reading a lot of Krishnamurti lately, and this is probably why my mind's on this. But part of what I think we've all been saying tonight is, ignore what else is going on. Like, everyone's got their opinions, but at the end of the day, it's your life, it's your set, it's your track selection, and people are gonna have all these opinions. But I think it's really easy to end up really unhappy with DJing or anything else that you're doing, even if you got into it for fun. If you're focused on what other people want you to be versus what you kind of know in your, like, deep down in your heart or soul, or however you want to think about it, like who you are. Like, if you're like, oh, okay, I just really love hardstyle, and other people are telling you like, well, you can't just play hardstyle all night, or you're never going to get into like a top 40 club with that. It's like, yeah, but is that who you want to be? Do you want to never play hardstyle and play top 40 or whatever? No, that's like the only choice there is, right? But figure out who you are and what you want, and just imagine like if everyone else was just supporting you, like who would you be? What would you look like? How would you dress? Like what would you change your name to? You know, who's gonna stop you? Like other people are gonna tell you who to be all your life, but you could go to the grave being who other people want you to be, and never been really alive in a way. And I know that's probably a lot heavier than what we're going for here, but I think it really applies to everything, like to the DJ. And you could be who maybe even people don't actually want you to be, but who you think they want you to be. It's like those people who are asking, well, what song should I play in order to make other people like my sets? Why don't you like what why don't you figure out what you like why don't you figure out what you like first, and then you won't have to ask that question of like what should I be playing. You'll know exactly what you should play and when you should play it, because it'll be what you want and what you know other people are going to want to hear, what's going to resonate with them. So I guess I'd say just do that. Yeah. That's the best advice I've got.
Yeah, because people can really feel our energy. Like if we are really enjoying our sets, really enjoying the music that we like and playing, the audience can pick up on that. You know, subconsciously pick up on that, and they'll start whittling the music that you're bringing out and such. And honestly, back to what you said, like be what you want to be instead of what somebody else wants you to be. You should look up another one of my friend DJs, Fen, F3NN. He is one of the hardest.
Yeah, you got his logo back, or their logo back here. Yep. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl or whatever.
But he is the hardest playing DJ you ever like. You love hard music, look him up on Mixcloud. He started off as a house DJ.
Okay, I will.
He hated it being a house DJ. Because that's the only thing that he could get was being a house DJ. And then like he did this for 5 years, hating DJing. But then eventually,
that's painful.
And eventually, the DJ scene opened up to where more music of this type became acceptable, and now he's just rocking out these amazing sets. When you listen to him, it's like, this is good, this is golden, this is amazing. Versus, this is just house music.
Well, I think that's one of the best things about DJing in VR chat specifically is. This is a place where you can really wear your heart on your sleeve, like the way that someone presents themselves. I mean, sometimes it's just like, you know, I'm in some prefab here, but most of the people who've been here for a while, they've got something that's really customized, and you're seeing how they see themselves and how they want to be seen by other people. It's really refreshing to be here because you can find any kind of music you want at any time, but you can also find just any kind of people that you want to hang out with, and it seems like in 60 seconds of talking I've become like close friends with people here, because there's not a whole lot of that pressure, like no one knows where you're from or anything. They just know like what you're showing them, and I think that to some people it's like, oh well, you're pretending to be something else, but I think it's actually the opposite. I think most of the time in real life, quote unquote, we're pretending, and this is a little bit more real in terms of how people think of themselves and see themselves. It's a lot more open and real than I think quote unquote meat space is.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, thank you so much for both for coming. Thank you so much for staying for the interview. It was amazing to have you, both of you. Let's go ahead and plug your...
Thanks for the invite.
Let's go and plug your Twitches and your socials. So go ahead. You first? Hank?
Oh no, I don't remember all of them actually. I think.
At least your Twitch.
Wait, so on Twitch? No. I got on Twitch. It's Angs and Ray, and I think on Twitter as well. On Instagram, I'm not sure, and on Mixcloud, it's the real Angs.
Awesome. And how about you? What are yours?
I am so tempted to register a name that is the fake Anks, because she's already got the real one.
Oh no.
No.
No, I actually have absolutely no social media whatsoever. I do have Twitch though, just for this, and it's CZ84. And my name in here is spelled with the dash, like just like the firearm. But on there, I think it's just CZ84. But yeah, you can check it out. Twitch TV CZ84.
Right. I'll suggest at least getting a Twitter set up so that way you can have people follow you if you're going to events.
Okay, okay.
Alright, well, thank you again so much. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for staying.
Thanks so much for having us.
You are most welcome.